Mothers and fathers, husbands and wives, sisters and brothers, friends for life, won't live in the past. All I wanna do now is making it last.
How to maintain the connection after children enter the picture. And who best to speak about this than a couple? The couple, the Cuffs, Basillia and Brian Cuff. This is Making It Last podcast, where it's all about helping people to have better relationships, not just with ourselves, but with other people. And I'm Noreen Daly. Welcome, the Cuffs.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about marriage life to give us a context. How long have you been married, and then when did children enter the picture?
So we've been married for 5 years, and our first daughter entered the picture right after our second anniversary. So we had 2 years of, enjoyment without children.
Okay, so not such emphasis, but yeah.
2 years of enjoyment without children. It's a different kind of enjoyment after children come into the picture, but we'll get to that.
Okay.
But yes, we had 2 years without children, and then our second daughter entered the picture after, yes, this one. After
yes.
year 5.
Okay.
So yes, 2 children, 2 daughters, Bria Marie and Bella Renee.
We're raising queens.
Yes, that's our hashtag, raising queens.
Yes.
Yes.
I noticed you, but I'm waiting on Brian to say something on
go
that
ahead.
too.
Usually the men allow the women to get the date right because the men are, a bit cautious about making sure they don't get it wrong. I wouldn't have gotten it wrong, but
Right.
better safe than sorry, right? Yes. 5
Okay.
years of marital bliss.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
sealed with a kiss. Yeah.
All right. You're gonna be here. We're gonna be here. All right. So how has it been since? Let's we're gonna take it generally in terms of both of them, but how did things change once Bella entered?
Which Bella is the second one?
No, sorry, Bria.
Okay.
Wrong B.
Okay.
Yeah, wrong B. Bria.
Well, when Bria came into the picture, we've always heard coming into marriage, and when we talk about having children, we've always heard that children change everything.
Okay.
And let me tell you, they change everything. Everything you can think about, they change. From how we have to manage our time, to how we spend our time together, to simple things like how we get ready to go to an event, how we treat going to an event. Or whole family structure, life as we knew it, changed completely after Bria came into the picture in terms of, first of all, I was, as a mother, I was so tired for the first year, I would say. Like, there were things that I used to do before that I couldn't do after we had our first daughter.
Okay.
For example, I could not cook as often because simply I was busy taking care of the newborn. I couldn't clean as often. I couldn't do many things as often. Thankfully, I have a husband who was able to do all those things. He still does them, thankfully. And so he had to pick up a lot of the things that I had to do. Well, that I used to do, right? He had to pick up the slack. It wasn't really slack either. It's just a matter of me not having the time or the energy
to do it
anymore. And when you talk about breastfeeding and being up with the baby, the husband and Brian can do so much and no more as it relates to the baby, especially as it relates to feeding.
Okay.
He can always be there to burp or to try and entertain her while I hurry and take a bath or one of those things. But when it comes on to breastfeeding, he definitely cannot do that part. So mommy has to be there and mommy has to make sure that she's eating. I had to make sure that I was eating enough, drinking enough, sleeping enough in order to be able to produce milk. So it's like a whole whirlwind. It was a huge huge change.
How was that
for Brian?
How was that transition for you, Brian, moving from a husband to being a father for the first time?
I remember before we got married, one of the things I had said to Bas was, we're going to enjoy all the moments in this moment that is called marriage. So the good moments, the bad moments, the in between. So when the baby came about, it was just another moment in the moment. And I guess my first thing to do when I heard that we were pregnant is to pray. Right? Because I believe God is the center of our lives. And then I also started thinking about relationships that I've seen, I've heard about. I thought about my own family structure that was affected by my dad leaving when I was going to turn 13 or a little before that. I thought about so many things, and I just started identifying male figures who are father figures, who are role models that I would like to be like. And then I also thought about all the negative that I don't want attached to me. And I set about trying to be not that type of person, right? So I said to myself that whatever it is I can do, whatever it is I can do that mommy can't do, or to help alleviate mommy's pressure, is what I would do. So that means, suffice to say, I feel like I've failed a lot, because I remember even after she came home with Bria, and I set up the room, I set up the crib, everything, did all that I could do as daddy. And I made it my duty to get up whenever she is sleeping. So if she feeds the baby or whatever, I would allow her, after she feed the baby, to give me the baby, and I would be up trying to burp the baby, cleaning the baby, whatever it is. Because I knew, but I didn't exactly know how much it takes from my mother. I heard and I see it, but no matter what, I still try to do. Like, listen, I'd get up, wash the clothes, like let's use a Saturday morning, get up, wash the clothes and hang them out and iron and put all the clothes together and get up the breakfast. She would come out, eat breakfast, go back in and have the baby. I'll wash up the dishes, start the dinner, clean the house, everything, every possible thing. And she was still tired. And I was like, I can't understand this. Right? Yeah?
Okay.
I'm trying to do everything that I possibly can to ensure that she gets the rest. But she's still tired. And when she's still tired, she still makes some complaints. And I'm like, but I'm doing everything. So understanding it, but really living it is completely different. Right? So that helped me, I guess, to be prepared for the second one.
Okay.
But the reality is, no matter how much I tried to do, it was not enough as far as helping her to just sit down and just feed the baby and put up her foot and relax, because it's mentally taxing.
Okay.
It's emotionally taxing. It's physically taxing because she's taking care of the baby. Plus she's recovering from childbirth, the whole experience of childbirth.
Right.
And I learned that it really does take a lot. So for me, I sort of transitioned from being just hobby to being daddy and showing my love through how I help to take care of her as she takes care of the kids.
In my defense, let me say, with always being tired, it has a lot to do, or majority of that had a lot to do with breastfeeding.
Okay.
Like, breastfeeding takes so much out of you, physically, mentally, emotionally, every alley you can think of. Oh.
Yes.
Only not financially, because we're not buying any formula, but I have to be constantly eating. There's something about,
so I have to be buying formula, quote unquote, for her,
for me, so that I can boost production and ensure that my body is in a state at all times to be able to manage. And I know I've never spoken about this before, and that is why he said the whole childbirth experience. I've never spoken about it before publicly, but our first daughter, our two daughters, were delivered via cesarean section, right? So 2 surgeries. So after the first surgery, I was not mentally prepared for a C-section. So I think that compounded the whole transition.
Yeah, it was a quote-unquote emergency C-section.
C-section. And so on top of dealing with being a new mom and adjusting to her schedule, breastfeeding, I had to be recovering from a major surgery. So that kind of threw us. Yeah. It was a lot to take in, not only for me, but for him as well, because a lot of things about me changed in terms of everything that I was able to do. For
she can't lift anything.
I can't lift.
For the first so much weeks.
I mean, I was in pain. I mean, so it was not just about the baby. It was also about me.
Okay.
So, and we weren't prepared for that. We had a quote unquote perfect pregnancy. No morning sickness, no nothing.
Nothing like,
Yeah, and then to be told last minute, oh, you have to do a surgery. I was like, huh?
Yeah.
And so it was a major change, and it wasn't just our family structure. It was also me as an individual. Yeah.
How then did that impact on your relationship?
All right. So let me tell you what how I coin it. I believe it's safe to say that children kill or allow your structure to be killed completely and wiped out completely that was there before them. So your relationship, let me not just use kill, because some people might think it's a strong word. It causes your marriage to evolve. So everything that you knew it as is completely different now. One of the things for me is understanding that I am not only going to love my wife, but I'm going to love her through my kids as well.
That's right.
So I have to show her that I love her, I love our kids, but I also love her through my kids. In that, I ensure that, as much as I can, whichever way I can, that they are taken care of, right? That she has the time to go out if she wants to go out. I'll take the children. I will allow her after she feeds to just go and sleep and get some rest and catch up, even though I would get up and do all of those things. Soon as the baby is fed, I'll take the baby from her. So I'm showing her different ways of loving her through how I treat the children, how I allow her to get breaks, how I allow her to get her time, how I allow her to just sit down and relax when she can. So for me, it causes a whole evolution. I remember before we got married, we had a discussion about friendship and how marriages kill friendships, because every one of your friends now have to quote unquote die the relationship that you had with them.
Yeah.
But then we said that they evolve, because all of these persons are supposed to understand your new structure.
That's right.
So that they can adjust to it and you also adjust. No, same thing with the baby. We have to now understand the baby's demands, the baby's needs, and adjust accordingly. So while I would say, all right, say I get $5,000 from somebody for my birthday, I don't just say, hey, I'm going to buy wifey this and that. I have to say, all right, I'm going to buy the Pampers and the wipes that is needed. I'm going to carry it and I give it to wifey. Same way like a present, right? It's her present, but it's their present, while she also gets.
I my present for their present.
but she sees me taking care of those needs.
And that's important, because if he's not taking care of those needs or helping to, I'm going to be miserable, and that's an added stress of trying to figure out, okay, where are we going to get this from? How are we going to take care of the children? So yes, it has been a life-changing experience.
But added to that is it's also important that I remember that I am not just daddy as well, or I'm not just loving her that one way. So I remember in particular after Bella, the second baby, was born, Valentine's Day was shortly after that, which was February 14. The baby was born February 5. So Valentine's Day came up and, I didn't say anything to her, all about the baby. And in the evening, I went out to a restaurant and I got the food and I came home and I locked off a part of the house.
Which was, by the way, Bria's toy room.
Yes. Yeah, drew the curtains behind her, lit the candles, shared the food,
and
popped the champagne, improvised.
Yeah.
And called her around to the toy room. She wanted what's happening in the toy room. She come around and bam, voila, Valentine's right there. So I had to show her still, it's not just about the kids, it's about you as well.
I definitely could not go anywhere.
Yeah, she couldn't go anywhere. So I wouldn't even think about, or doing anything lavish and cause her stress as well. She couldn't do a spa day or nothing like that. So I have to think about what can work at that time. And then the other day when I emceed a function, they were giving out roses. So I had to collect roses, not just for her, not just for the baby, but for the baby and for her. So for two of my princesses, to show them that, hey, both of you are important. This baby not ready for Rosie said, so she can stay.
I am sure you're enjoying this conversation just as much as we are. But guess what? You're going to have to wait until next time to hear the conclusion of this conversation. This is Making It Last podcast with your host, Noreen Daly. Until next time.
Mothers and fathers, husbands and wives, sisters and brothers, friends for life won't live in the past. All I wanna do now is making it last.